Hello, Mr. Solis here again with AQR. This is how you doing, class? This is something we're going to be doing. We're going to be analyzing linear regression equations, and we're given this information. They talk about Olympic swimmers, and they went ahead and gave out some stats on Michael Phelps, who stands at 193 centimeters, which is pretty tall, which is about 6 foot 4, and he has an arm span of 200 centimeters. So right here, we're talking about this information from a local competitive swim club, and it gives us this information. It gives us height and wingspan. And basically, this is your X and this is your Y. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to go ahead and use, and I need to go ahead and use these calculators, and I need to explain a few things. Well, when it says right here for number one, enter the data in the data table into your graphing calculator and make a scatter plot. Sketch the graph below and describe it in words. Well, first off, we're going to go ahead and just get the calculator to do this for us. Now, I want you to go ahead and take note of this though. Make sure that the top of the grid says L1 and L2 and L3. That starts saying that. But if any of those are missing, just like this, somebody actually hit the delete key on those particular lists. And now what I've done is I've deleted all my lists. So now I need to go ahead and get those lists back. To get them back, you have to hit stat key, which is this key right here underneath delete, and go and choose option 5, which is setup editor. And I just need to push enter once on that, and there it is. We have gone ahead and retrieved our L1, L2. Now, this problem occurs when students want to go ahead and clear the list and they hit the delete. Well, that's not what we want to do. We actually want to hit clear and then enter. That gets rid of the information, and then we can go ahead and start putting our information as is. Now, some of you may want to do information, put in the information different ways. I would highly suggest you start with each pair. So 172, enter, and then go to the next one. I just hit the right button to get to here. 173, and there we go. And I'll just do that for the entire thing. Now, since I'm in a hurry, I've already done all this data. I'm going to go to Stat, Edit, and as you can see, it's all right here. Now I've counted the number of data points right here, which is approximately 10 all the way down. And if you want to go ahead and check if you did enter it in correctly, you can go ahead and go all the way down right here. And this one says L10, which means we've entered in 10 different elements. Now, to get the graph, to get the scatter plot, so that way we can just take a look at the scatter plot that we have here, I'm going to go to y equals and make sure that's clear. There says plot up there, so I'm going to go second y equals. And I want to go ahead and take a look at this one right here. Originally it's off, so what I want you all to do is turn it on and then check everything and make sure this says L1, L2 because this is where all of our data is. Now to be able to graph this, let me show you how it looks normally. If you try to graph it, you're going to get this window. Nothing's going to be there. To get the graph of this data, the way it's been, put on our stat plot, you look for zoom 9, which stands for zoom stat. And there's our data. So we get to just copy it and then put it right here. Describing in words is actually quite simple. The data appears to be increasing from left to right and appears to lie it appears to lie on a line, lay on a line or is linear. And there we go. So you have this all done right here. You can have your own statements and everything's going to be a little bit different. Use what you know about the situation and data to find the function model for this data set. Well, it appears almost like a one-to-one ratio. I would even go ahead and come up with my own. Let me see. Y may be equal to 1 times x plus, I don't know, 1. And we can see if that's a one-to-one ratio later on. But if you go to number 3, well, those are instructions, sorry. If you go to number 3, it says use your graphing calculator to compute a regression analysis of the swimmer's arm spans in relation to the height. So we're going to use our calculator to actually do something called a linear regression. So if I go back to my calculator, this is all in line. And I'm going to tell the calculator, I want you to go ahead and do a linear regression. So the way to get to the linear regression menu is hit the stat key and then push to the right and you'll see this whole new set of options. It says calc. And I will choose option 4, which is line reg, which stands for linear regression. And even this right here, it's you have ax plus b right here, which is close to what we would say mx plus b, or our form for that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do one little thing just extra to go ahead and do something really special. Actually, I need to do 2 things. First, I'm going to go to second and my catalog. And I'm going to look for a function called diagnostic on. I'll just keep on scrolling until I find diagnostic on. This is basically in alphabetical order. And let's see. Diagnostic on is right there. I'm going to choose diagnostic on and push enter. Whoops. I need to make sure it just says diagnostic on. So you might want to clear your whole thing. I'm going to go back to the catalog, look for diagnostic on. Before I do anything, I should do this all the time. Get into that habit. There it is, diagnostic on, turn it on. So my diagnostics are on. What does that do? Well, you'll find out in just a few seconds. So I'm going to hit stat again, calc, find my line reg, stands for linear regression. And I'm going to do one little extra thing. I'm going to go ahead and hit this button that says vars. Vars stands for variables. So I'm going to go to y vars, which stands for y variables. And you're going to choose function, which is option number 1. Now I have y1 right here. I'm going to go ahead and choose that one. And what that does, if you notice, y1 looks kind of familiar. If you push y equals, you'll see y1 right here. And what that'll do is whatever function it produces, it'll actually automatically put it into this right here. And we'll see that in just a few moments. Enter. And there it is. Now, if you'll notice, it says R2 and R right here. So we'll talk about that in a few seconds. But right here, you have A, which is this number, and B, which is this number, which go ahead and we'll go inside of these variables over here. I've hit the Y equals. You'll notice 1.02, isn't that over here? 1.02? Well, basically, it goes ahead and takes that formula and puts it in for y1, so that way we can get an automatic look at what the graph is going to look like. Also, we have this r. So I'm going to write down the formula real quick over here. Y equal to 1.02 x plus, actually minus, oops, wrong one. Minus 1.43. Now that is my new equation for this, and that's the equation that models this. And we can see how it compares to the question number 2. So let's see. I'm going to go back to my my calculator, and I'm going to go ahead and push graph just so I can see it. And there it is. And you can see how it just goes through that data and it's very close to the data. But that's what R2 means. If you just do this and you just look at R2, number one, it's a positive number. So 0.96. That's what R is equal to. It's a positive number. So this means that it has a positive slope or correlation. Probably misspelled it. I don't care. All right. Now, it's also very close to 1. The closer that R gets to 1, the better the fit of the data. Basically, what that says is that it has a strong correlation. It is very strong. It has a its relative strength is strong. Is strong. And that's why we put that down. So the closer that is to 1, the better. If it's not close to 1, it's not relatively strong. Now, there's also cases where we have negative. So basically, all that does is say that this has a negative slope. So that's all that it would do. Or the data has a negative direction. I should say negative and positive direction. Okay, well, and that's it for now. We'll go ahead and do the rest in class. We have some good fun stuff to go ahead and look at. This stuff should be relatively simple after this. So enjoy the video. Take the video quiz. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.